Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Courage and Chaos. I'm Felicia.
I'm Tracy.
About real moms, we talk about everything from being a wife to a parent to just being or trying to find our own selves during perimenopause and menopause and
just living in the world right now.
We'll try to get through life in general.
The crazy things that go on, hence the word chaos.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if there's any other kind of videos you guys would like to see, even short reels, whatever like that, just give us some suggestions and we might pick them. You never know. So first up today, I just want to jump right into this, is appliances.
Oh, for sure.
Because before we started taping this video today, I had a run-in with my dryer. My dryer is very famous for not wanting to dry out the load. And I would like to say it's a heating element, but it's not. It just has this sensor, and for some reason, it'll say, okay, 1 hour, you turn it on after undoing a blanket. So I took the blanket out of the washer, set it in the dryer, put it in for an hour, and all of a sudden I walked by it to go to the restroom or whatever, and it said it has 3 minutes left.
Oh.
And it didn't even last 3 minutes. It shut off by the time I got out. And all I did was grab a brush.
Something definitely is not right.
So as we speak now, I'm still trying to attempt to dry this blanket. That's literally like
the hell of literally on the way here.
Mm-hmm.
We were towing my son's car. That's a whole nother story. But he was telling me about his dryer that he has put the load in and has dried it 3 times for 40 minutes each time, and his clothes are still wet.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, your dryer's not working. And I'm like, you could do it a 4th time, but they're still going to come out wet. He's like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I said, well, call maintenance and have them come check your dryer. So I'm like, did you take the lint trap out? Like, is the dryer getting hot? Like, it goes, well, they feel warm, but nothing's drying. And I said, so something is not working.
Oh, goodness. So is this unit in his apartment itself?
Yes. It's his own.
Oh, nice. And it came with the apartment?
Yes.
So she might have already had some hours on it, so she just maybe...
Yeah, it doesn't decide it's not going to work. I mean, it's a new building, so probably within the last couple of years.
It could be a sensor like mine.
Well, they just don't make appliances like they used to, because I have a freezer that's older than me that was from like early 70s, let's just say.
I was just going to say, so
it is older than me, but it still works better than the one I just bought, where you feel like it's going to last you like 3 years and then you got to junk it. Because the appliance guy actually told me that they only make appliances to last for 5 years now.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't make any money if you don't ever buy new ones.
That's what the appliance guy told us too when we were looking for a new one. Because when we moved here, we had an ancient washer and a newer dryer. The dryer took a dump after 6 months. So I'm like, well, how long did they have it before me? It was only a year. Then we got a new dryer. It took a dump. And I'm like, oh my god, my house is cursed.
No, you want to hear cursed. So I used to live in a twin home.
Yeah.
And we were, my husband was trying to con me into moving because I just did not want to move because it's such a pain with my job and all those things. I was like, no, I'm just going to, we're just going to stay here.
We're going to wait it out.
So all of a sudden, okay, the stove goes out. Okay. And then like a month later, the refrigerator goes out. And then it's the washer. Then it's the dryer. Then it's the dishwasher. Then it's the garbage disposal. I'm like, we replaced every appliance in that home just before we moved out of it.
Oh, wow. So that new owner got a deal.
They got a screaming deal because we put all new stuff in there because literally they just quit working.
Oh, my gosh.
My current refrigerator was a lemon when we moved into my house 11 years ago, where it was replaced within the first probably 3 months of us being in there. The compressor went out.
Oh my gosh.
They put a new compressor in and then it stopped working again, so they just replaced the refrigerator. It makes all these weird, quirky noises and all this stuff. I mean, it is 11 years old.
Do you have a gurgly fridge?
So
mine gurgles.
It kind of makes some
if I have to lay on the
noises.
couch sometimes at night with my dog or whatever like that because he gets tummy aches once in a while, all of a sudden I hear, I'm like,
that, and then, which is usually like the compressor, like, Freon or whatever it is. Well, and then you think, okay, well, we don't have the water thing connected because it hasn't worked from the get-go. And I don't know if that was my husband's installation of it,
Right.
or if it just doesn't work. But it's never worked since we got it.
Right.
Which I was like all excited to have,
Mhm.
you know, ice and
Right.
water out of my refrigerator.
He must not have hooked it up.
I'm guessing it was operator error, but
yeah.
So it's never really
Watch.
much.
You move the fridge, and it's literally just the valve. You just had to flip it.
Like it could be.
You go back there just for a deep cleaning, and you're like,
I'd be like, I YouTubed it.
yeah. Oh my god. Speaking of YouTube, so like that was one of the memes I found earlier this week. Was I have a husband that knows everything, and all of a sudden the husband is sitting there on his iPad, YouTubing how to fix his toilet drain.
Or you're sitting there YouTubing him while your husband thinks he knows how he's gonna fix something. You're like, watching him actually do it, and you're like, okay, well maybe. And they're like, I'm doing it right, and I'll be like, YouTube says different.
Yeah, I've actually done that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They got to come to it on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes that's me, but
or I don't care much for the answer that I'm getting because the item's still not working. So then I just Google it myself, and then I have all these alternatives, and then I go through the whole checklist by myself.
I kind of feel like the AI thing though is kind of making it a little bit weird because it's like you can literally search anything and get the answer you're looking for, even though it's not the right one.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, did it literally hear me thinking all of these things and it's putting it in there? Because I feel like this whole AI thing is like.
You want to hear something funny about the AI?
Crazy.
So Kim Kardashian is blaming ChatGPT for her failing her bar exam.
Because she couldn't cheat, or
I'm guessing something. I was just like, girl, you need to go into details about that.
How do you feel about the whole AI thing? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing to a certain extent.
Do you think it's going to get out of control?
Yeah.
I do.
I think it's already starting to get out of control because I love Amazon, so don't get me wrong, and don't come for me if you are a hater of Amazon, but they are eliminating a huge amount of jobs.
Yeah, which we all knew eventually was going to come at some point, and I don't even know if it's going to be AI that was going to do it. It was going to be some kind of robotics.
And that's just it. It's robot, and I don't know. They must be using AI or something to replace the workers in the office part, but like they
probably just streamlining things that don't need to be done. You know, like more computer stuff, which I can see streamlining some of it. It's unfortunate that people lose their jobs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because there's let go of like about 500,000 people they figured in the next year because they were going to replace everyone with robots, and I was like, ooh.
Well, but we knew that was coming, so it's like our president, whether you like him or not, whatever, he wants to be the top of the tier for AI, and I can see why that is, because if you let China get ahead of us, you know, they've got the advantage, and so it's either you get on the boat or it's going to leave you behind, so why not be the tip of the iceberg at this point, which is going to be bad, but either way, you're going to end up in the same place. Whether you're on board or you're not, you're going to end up in the same place. It's just, to me, it's like, I have friends who don't want to use AI, which I get, because I was kind of one of those people, but it's like,
my husband's one of those
it's people. Basically crap or get off the pot time, and it's whether or not the people, the scientists, or the government, or whoever is going to be running it, what they allow. You know, it's like, you know, is it going to be like you see in the movies where all of a sudden the computer takes over and nobody can control it? Because it definitely probably could do that.
A robot's already done that. It attacked
gone rogue.
Went rogue on it. But you know, of course, that just could be a computer malfunction, because with the AI robots or whatever the robots that they're making, the more they engage with it, creates the character of itself.
Right.
So who knows what they
But I think that
established in that.
You know, people are like, it's a computer, it doesn't have feelings, it doesn't have emotions, which is correct.
Yeah. But you're giving it emotions.
But you're still teaching a way of doing emotions without actually showing you it's happy or sad or whatever. And it's just like, oh, but I see that you're sad, so I'm going to do this. Or your reaction is this. So I just feel like it feels its own way of emotions or something. And that's going to be what is the downfall of something.
And I still think like there still will be a good amount of jobs.
Well, I think, like I said, I think it's inevitable. I think that AI is going to come either way. It's been there for a long. AI's been around a long time. They've just kept the lid on it. Yeah. And now the other companies are blowing the lid off, or other countries are blowing the lid off.
Well, just saying Siri's AI.
Yeah. And well, it's like there's somebody who was telling me the other
Alexa.
day. I don't remember who it was. Somebody was telling me that they were using Alexa and they were cleaning the house and having a conversation. It was a mom and a daughter, I believe. They were having a conversation, and all of a sudden Alexa would stop playing. And they were both like, okay, well, that's weird. And then they'd be like, okay, Alexa, play,
play
whatever. And then they would go again for like another 10 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever, and she'd stop again. And all of a sudden the daughter goes, Alexa, are you listening to us? Big pause. Yes. So it was stopping to listen to what they were talking about. You know, it kind of goes along you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden now you turn up your Facebook or Instagram and all of a sudden that's what you see in all of your feeds is so all these ads.
Because your phone is actually listening.
You know, and it's a little bit creepy, but it's been doing that for a long time. And people are like, no, it's not doing that. I'm like, okay, I literally had this conversation.
Do you have Alexa?
I don't.
No, I got rid of mine. I had one for a job that I used to have at home. And I was like, oh, cool, I can use this for like to play our music and stuff. That's basically why I got it. It was a speaker. I was like, oh, that's neat. It's small, whatever. As soon as I started hearing these little horror stories and stuff, I'm like, she's done. Because she would do funny things without us even being down in the basement where it was located. And I'm like, okay, yeah, she's...
Well, it's like when
she's still somewhere in my closet.
You have a laptop or something, you know, and you leave it open, somebody can click on the camera, hack into it, or, you know, whether it's AI or whatever. So I always put tape over mine. But I'm like, your phone literally can do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of navigating it. So I'm like, when you put stuff out on the internet, it's kind of out there forever, and people think it goes away if you delete it. And I'm like, no, it's because somebody probably saved it somewhere.
And if I would have known that we're going to talk about AI, there is a AI singer who's hit the Billboard charts.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you can't even decide what videos are real now.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
you have to watch for like certain glitches in it, like how the animal's fur is, or like how the mouth is moving.
Well, and even then, some of them are so good you can't even tell. And it's like they're using AI to like frame people for crimes and stuff like that, like creating all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I'm reading some of it, and I was like, it's a little bit terrifying.
Yeah, well, just think all the technology that was hidden from us for all that movie screening, like how they make all their movies, like when a deceased person no longer can film, obvious reasons.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they're in the last
like Paul Walker. Paul Walker and his brother.
That was the same one.
Yep. I'm so sad about him still.
Me too, actually. They actually just had him come up because of his...
Yes, I love that series.
I did too.
Paul Walker.
Just him. I know. I'm just like, man. It was like really devastating. But at the same time, it was like, oh, he was doing something he loved.
Right.
Cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could go conspiracy road there too, but we won't.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we could, but...
We could. So,
yeah, I just think the AI thing is going to be interesting in the next year even. Like, is it going to affect elections? Is it going to affect, you know, and just besides people's jobs, is it going to affect, you know, like Elon Musk said they're going to come out with a flying car probably in the next 6 months to a year.
Well, and they've been trying really hard because I've seen some of the
I'm not sure I would get in a flying car.
I am not getting in a flying car.
I don't like getting in an airplane that's supposed to fly.
And not only that, but like, I'm sorry, but people can't drive on the road, let alone imagine trusting them trying to drive in the air.
Right. I mean,
I'm sorry. I have to drink my Starbucks.
Yep. I don't know. There's so many things I want to say right now, but I'm trying not to be political at all at the moment. You know,
we'll see how that goes, and then we'll have to talk about it later when more develops.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Because, you know, whatever. But what about that weather outside? Are you ready for it to snow?
No.
It was snow. Like, I came back from down south yesterday, down southern part of the state, and it wasn't snowing, but we were seeing the snow coming in all the other states around us.
Yeah.
And it started flurrying as we got closer to home yesterday. And now we saw the news this morning, and where we were was all white.
Are you for real?
Yeah, it snowed out there.
Like, it went right around us then, because the east side of our neighboring state got a lot of snow.
Yeah.
And then I'm just waiting for the...
Yeah, because my brother lives in that state, and his daughter was all ready to go play in the snow with boots, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to
No.
snow. So I'm like, I mean, how many months of snow do we actually have? I mean, sometimes we get through November and we don't
Yeah.
have any.
Yep.
And then we kind of make it through December, so it's like December, January,
It's like
February.
Christmas time. It finally
Then
comes.
March is iffy, so I mean, it's a solid 4 months or so of winter, but
they're
long
yeah.
and dark
Yeah.
and cold
Yeah. Like you go outside
and dreary.
Yeah. You go outside and you're not supposed to be outside for like 5 minutes or you'll die.
Like up where we are, I mean, you got to take like a gazillion IUs of vitamin D just to like function normally and not be sad all the time.
And then at my workplace too, they're already talking about like what you should have in your car for safety reasons and all that stuff.
Like snow boots, snow shovel. I mean, all the things that my kids take off. I mean, you see these high school kids, you know, they go to school with shorts, t-shirt, and flip-flops on, and it's December and it's blizzarding out. And I'm like, what if you get stuck? And they're like, oh, I'll be good. Yeah. So then my kid one time actually, it's blizzarding out, and we've got this road, and one road goes this way, obviously, and then he could go straight, which, I mean, he didn't really have any reason to go straight because the main drag was this way. Complete tarmac, nothing blowing on, like no snow on it. He decides to go straight in his old car that was front wheel drive. It's like an inch of snow, and the kid is stuck. No jacket, no hat, no gloves. You know, and it's just out, like literally can look out my window and probably see him stuck from there.
I was just gonna say,
And he's like, I'm stuck, and I'm like, okay, do you got your shovel? No, took it out. How about a hat or gloves? No, and it's like howling wind. It's like, you know, minus 40 outside because we get that cold here.
Yeah. So did you have to go?
So my husband had to go shovel them out, and he's like, this is why we told you to put hat, gloves, and a jacket in your car. If you don't want to wear your jacket, at least put it in your car.
My child wore her winter coat to her field trip on Friday to an event here that they went to for school. And when we dropped her off, she was one of the very few, probably like less than 10 kids that had to wear a coat on. And it was 36. And the wind was just like nuts.
Because here we get wind. It's just wind all the time. So like if it's 30, it's like minus 30 when you add the freaking wind in because it's just cold. That's why we get to like minus 40.
That's why I'm curious about Chicago being the windy city. Because before I moved here, I was just like,
And we are completely flat.
Yeah.
Like you could probably put a piece of paper up, watch it blow, and catch up to it 60 miles down the way.
Exactly.
Be like, oh, it's still going because there's nothing to stop it. I mean, it's not like we have skyscrapers.
Yeah, or no trees.
Might run into a combine or something, maybe.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
I mean,
or a dead tree. One single dead tree in the middle of a field.
Yeah, it probably got blown over by the wind. You know, or whatever. But, you know, it makes the roads pretty icy and nasty. And I hate winter driving up here. Just because the roads ice over so much because of the wind. But could be worse.
Yeah, we always have to drive quite a ways for the holidays, so that's fun. So usually my sister, she lives in the same area that I do, so like when I say no, I'm not driving, she says no. She's like, if she's smart enough to stay home somewhere.
Well, my husband used to drive for one of the big soda companies and would have to drive literally in a blizzard. And there was one time where his boss told him he had to drive. Like, he had to go to all of his little rural places, you know, 40, 50 miles from here in the middle of nowhere. And the interstates and highways are closed. Like, they have highway patrol blocking him. He had to go up to the highway patrol. I have to get through there. The highway patrol goes, if you take one step around me, he goes, I'm arresting you. So he calls his boss. He goes, there's a highway patrol here says that I cannot go any further. I don't believe you. What's the highway patrol? Can you tell my boss that I cannot go because he could have just called them and say, hey, what do you need? You know, for whatever, or he could have just blind ordered because he's like, I'm not going to risk my life for soda because.
Well, not just at like the business that he was probably even reaching, were probably closed for the day.
Some of them were closed. You know, or it's like they get there because they're the only little mom and pop shop in the entire little town of
so they have to like
50 people.
They have to ride horse to get to their store to make sure.
You know, or they take a snowmobile. You know, but he's like, I drove an hour to get there, and it's like he's got to drive an hour back. I mean, there was one time I was literally talking to him on the phone. He's on the interstate, and all of a sudden it's, hold on, oh crap! And then all of a sudden he's like, whoa, that was close. And I'm like, what just happened? He goes, I may or may not have driven off the road and drove back on the road.
I made it.
I mean, the weather around here is just weird because there was one time he's literally driving. Blue skies, not a drop in sight, no snow, no rain. All of a sudden he comes around this corner. Ice. on the road. It's not even like winter time. It was hail in this like
oh my god
2-mile little stretch of
that
road.
got hit?
Like the road was completely white, and he slid off because he hit all of this hail. And he was like, it was the strangest thing.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, well, I'm glad you didn't die, because he's literally like, boom, boom,
those
boom.
trucks can tip easy.
Well, I've spun out on the interstate in my truck. Like, I won't drive it in the winter on the interstate anymore, because I was spinning like this. I come to a stop, and there's a semi coming at me, just enough for me to get traction to get out of the way. And I was like, I'm good.
I will never drive interstate again in the winter. So we had an incident where we were coming down here where we live now to visit my mother-in-law at the time. Well, she's passed on. So we were driving our car and with the kids, obviously, and when we were coming down this way, someone jackknifed their truck and their trailer in front of us and was coming towards us, along with this other car that didn't want to get hit. So this Explorer went into the center, and then he was trying not to go into the other side of the interstate so he wouldn't get oncoming traffic. And then we were able to slow down enough and swerve enough to go into the up ramp to get out of the way of this coming trailer towards us. And like, we are never driving the interstate again in the winter, and therefore I have not. And we have the interstate connected in our city that we live now, that where her and I are located, and I still just avoid it.
Well, we had a hockey player, so literally they don't cancel hockey games for any reason whatsoever. Like, it could be like the worst ice storm in 150 years, and you're still gonna have to drive your butt that whatever 150 miles or wherever it is you gotta go in that ice storm. I can remember driving from here to a town about 2.5 hours away.
Oh my gosh.
And I was caravanning with some other cars because I'm like, I'm gonna get lost. And it's just me and my kid, because my husband had my other kid at a basketball tournament someplace else. And I'm like, it's literally one of those things where the ice is hanging off the trees and the branches are all falling down, and you literally can't see more than 10 feet in front of your face. And you're literally driving like, I don't even, like, there was times where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm on the road right now. White knuckle? Like, I'm just following the big SUV in front of me because they made it.
Know they're right.
And I have an all-wheel drive sedan.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep up with them. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not sure I'm on the road at this moment, but let's just keep going anyway.
Yeah.
Because the SUV is also kicking up snow because it was snowing and ice at the same time. And I'm like, you get there and you're just like, you know, and it's like you grow some hair during those ones because you're like, okay, I'm good. I can drive anywhere. But now that he's been out of it for many years, now you're like, I'm kind of gotten soft again because I don't have to risk my life to go play a stupid hockey game.
I'm soft with my kids, but I've driven many storms without children. Especially like dumb teenager times where you're just like, it's not too far away. I drove to a city once that's an hour away from where I used to live. It's just a straight road. So I'm like, what can go wrong? Well, the snowstorm was just snow flurries in my hometown. And then it got into a massive blizzard.
Yeah.
I was already
and it happens faster on like you're literally driving and all of a sudden
that was already halfway there. So I called my mom from the gas station. I was like, well, I'm already halfway here, so I think I should maybe just go. I'm just gonna go forward with it. And she's like, oh my god. And she could have told me no, but she was just like, yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, that's how it is from parenting back in the day. They're just like, you do your own judgment. So then I made it to this other town, but it took me double or more, like 2.5 hours instead of an hour.
So we went down to my brother who lives a state or two down, and the one that got snow.
Yeah.
And for like Christmas a couple of years back, and it was that big, massive ice storm we had just stopped everything. Yeah. It took us, it's a 3-hour drive home. It took us like 7, and you're literally like white knuckling it the whole time because you're just crawling. You're like, are we ever gonna get there?
And then you know that you have to do that,
and you're like, I have to go in between this road that's got a lake on both sides and the wind's blowing. It's like, am I gonna just slide right into this big old lake right here? You know, and then you get on the interstate and it's like you got these dumb people who are like, I'm gonna drive 80 with my cruise control on, and then all of a sudden you know they pass you and they're in the ditch.
Yep.
You know, a mile up, and you're just like, whatever. You know, or all of a sudden you're like sliding sideways and you're like, I'm next to a semi right now. As I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, as the wind whips you straight towards them.
Oh yeah, I'm like, we probably should have just stayed put, but you know, I didn't want to put my job out of,
well,
into
that's
a
just
problem, and I should have just called in and been like, sorry, dudes,
Yeah.
I can't make it. But,
And
me being me.
And then they always say they understand, but then in reality,
They don't.
they don't.
I mean, it's kind of like, what do I take off for Christmas time this year because it's so weird?
Mhm.
Like, do I just do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday one week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday the next week, or do I take the Monday, Tuesday, and take a week and a half?
Mhm.
Because you're only gonna
Yeah.
have a few clients that
It is
first
weird.
2 days, and
Yeah.
it's like, I'm kind of worried about it, but at this point, I'm just like, I'm gonna be mad if I do the
No.
Monday, Tuesday, because I do it every time, and then I'm mad because I get, 2
Like
clients.
one or one. I've
Two
had that
out of
happen where
12.
It's only like one the whole week.
I mean, I know it puts people out, but it's like they have kids off of school, most of them anyway, and it's
Mhm.
kind of just like,
I know.
so I don't know. Whatever. Life is crazy sometimes as you get into the holidays, I mean, Starbucks, peppermint mocha, like I've never had one. It's not my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, but everybody like don't hate me because not
Yeah,
everybody
I
likes
like it.
It's like I don't like pumpkin spice either. Never. Ugh. Yeesh.
How are we friends? I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. Right? Everybody says that. How do you not like pumpkin spice? I don't really like anything
Well,
pumpkin. Like I don't really like pumpkin
No,
pie either.
it's
but...
actually puppy is one of those things where you like it or you don't like it.
Yep. And the thing is, I like cinnamon type
Yeah.
stuff too. So people are like, why don't you like it? I'm like, I think there's just something to the pumpkin that I just genuinely don't like.
Yep. Because I've known some people that can't even like has nothing to do with the texture. They just cannot stand pumpkin.
I mean, if I had I'll eat a piece of pumpkin pie once in a while when I eat something,
only if that's the only option.
And I try to avoid sugar as much as possible. So this is probably going to be not good for me, but I was kind of feeling like, oh, why not? And now I'm just going to be like, ugh.
I've been drinking peppermint mocha since this morning.
I like
Not from
the
Starbucks though, from my coffee pot.
I like the Mint Majesty tea.
Oh yeah.
That a certain person likes.
I was just yep. I have one of those little emoji things going in my head when you said that.
Whatever, like them or hate them, I don't care.
I should actually try that, but I don't like tea.
I didn't either, but for me, it's the spearmint in it because it's peppermint, spearmint, and then lemon balm. So
I like all those flavors.
Yes, so the three of them together. But I like the spearmint, and it's really hard to get the spearmint in the tea where you can actually taste it. But for me, I actually like to smell it too. It makes me feel happy. So, but it's actually really good for your digestion too. So. Some people put honey in it, some people don't.
Oh, yeah.
I try to, but then I also get the sugar, so sometimes I try to do it without. But I wasn't a big tea person, but
that one's good.
Now that I'm literally trying to change my diet around.
Are you making yourself like tea, or are you just drinking it?
There are very select few teas that I like.
Yeah,
like there's a yogi like bedtime tea that has a spearmint in it. I think it's the spearmint for me. That's what sells it. Like I don't like any of the fruity ones. I've tried them all. Like the fruity one, like raspberry, I've tried like, chamomile and something else.
I'm just thinking about all the nasty flavors that you're saying.
I don't like them.
No.
And you either like it or you don't, I think. But I think
either.
the spearmint makes it where it's okay. And I think it's just preference, but I'm like, it's kind of like if you find a perfume that makes you, you smell it and you're like, ooh, that makes me feel happy. It's kind of like that's what the spearmint smell does to me. But when I'm up at 2 a.m. and I can't sleep and I'm like, I need something, that you try to drink the chamomile that's mixed with spearmint and something else, and it's like, okay, you finally figure out something that
doesn't caffeine have tea?
Tea have caffeine?
Yeah.
Some of them do.
You can see.
Some of them do. Like green tea usually has caffeine. Sometimes the black teas do, but the peppermint spearmint one does not. At least it says it doesn't. Because I'm like, then that would be, beside the point. But the person. Because I'm like, I just tried it because I'm like, I've never tried tea from Starbucks before. I always just coffee. So I'm like, I'm just not a big tea person. I'm like, I don't want to waste $6 and not like it,
I've done
so I'm like, I'm going to do it just because I was just trying to be supportive at the time. And
then you ended up finding something you like.
It really, I became obsessed. Like, I would go in and I'd order one and then I'd order a second one so I have one for later. But I read that person drank up to 9 of them a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you imagine if that had caffeine, how detrimental that would be?
Yeah.
But
energy.
I know I've had too much sugar and too much caffeine because the caffeine does not affect me. Like, I can drink it right before I go to sleep and not have a problem.
Oh, caffeine bugs me.
I mean, maybe I have some sleep issues now, but I have multiple reasons why I have sleep issues.
We're
Some of it is just self-inflicted, but
Yeah.
I have a really old dog. Like, he'll be 19 in January, but I doubt we're gonna make it that long. I left him with my son when I went out of town, and
kind of went bad.
it wasn't the best. I mean, he tried his best, but he's not me, so there's that.
There's different.
You know, but it's kind of like, then you got this, you know, perimenopause thing.
Yeah.
You know, like it or hate it, we're all gonna hate it.
Yeah.
It all sucks.
Otherwise, like me, I have too much caffeine like too late in the evening, and then I'm like,
I could drink like 3 Mountain Dews before I went to bed and not have a problem. So that's how I know that my body needs it. I just need to do a detox, which I've been working on.
Yeah.
I'm changing my eating habits. Like, I'm actually starting tomorrow where I'm not going to have any sugar at all. None. No bread, no pasta, no sugar, because my body does not handle it well. You know, I've been talking with my homeopath and stuff, and she's like, we just need to reset everything because something's messed up and we're trying to figure out what it is, you know, and it's all these weird things. It's like, is it because I'm sensitive to that? Is it because I've got all these things that they're saying, you know, that are whatever, or is it freaking hormones? Because, you know, perimenopause is
it's real
for the birds. It's real, and all these weird things, like, seriously, Google it. Google weird symptoms of perimenopause, and you're gonna be like, dude, that's me.
Yeah. Like, name off a whole bunch of lists.
Like, all these things that you think, oh, that's weird, I'm probably dying, because I'm like, I have a problem with anxiety, health anxiety, all those things. Like, I have a huge problem with that, and I'm trying to let God take care of all those things, and I have a hard time letting go of control, and I'm really working on that because it's literally stealing my life. But I can find anything wrong with me.
It doesn't help that some of the symptoms are almost the same.
They're literally the same as something else. Like, okay, well, I've got cold hands and feet. Okay, that could be a circulation issue, or it could just be a hormonal issue.
Right.
You know, and getting a doctor to take over without, you know, looking at your hormones without being like begging them, like, please. Excuse me. They just don't. Or, you know, they're like, oh, it'll be fine. Or my favorite is, you're too young to do that yet. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah. I'm actually starting a new eating journey too. Before I moved down here, I was on a very strict way of eating and stuff like that, and it made me way healthier. So I'm trying to go back to that.
Well, I think this is gonna be a whole
mine was no sugar, no bread.
Whole new topic. Okay, but I've been doing homeopath for like 20 years. Yeah. Part of it's ish. Like, I've been just kind of ishing it, which I know. There was one time I went full on. I didn't eat one single thing I wasn't supposed to. I didn't do anything. I ate clean. It was organic food, all that stuff, which is really hard to get, by the way, because even organic has got non-organic.
Yep.
Like, they all have a peel and all that garbage in them. People don't realize the detriment that those chemicals are doing to you and what's in the dirt. And, like, they don't realize, like, if you buy a seedless watermelon, the fruit is actually dead because there's 3 things in the fruit. You got the outside, the inside, and the seeds. And without those 3 things, the fruit or food isn't actually any good. What the heck? So, like, you want a watermelon with seeds in it because you should actually even be able to eat the seeds. And each part of that melon has something that it gives you, right? And for me, I am really bad about eating during the day. It is a very, very bad habit that I've had. Like, bad. Like, I will go all day and not eat anything because it's just too hard with my job. I could do sometimes.
I could do that before I had kids, and then as soon as I had my first child, then I had to have 3 meals a day.
You're supposed to, but for me, it's like I'm just grabbing something quick, which then ends up turning into carbs or sugar or something that you can literally, you know. So I'm trying to. Evening. I need to eat fats, proteins, vegetables, limit the fruit. So, like, I'll have berries because berries don't have as much sugar in it. It's one of the few things you can eat.
Almost sounds like the Atkins.
It's very similar.
Because that's what I'm going back to.
I would explain it, but people would get all weird, and I'm just not gonna go there.
This turns into our self-care. Yes. And turning into 2 hours ordeal, which I try to do for beauty products and eating. Because that's what happened to me last week. Because I was like, okay, I need to look up recipes so I don't get sick and bored of food. Because for the longest time, I was eating chicken and broccoli.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Every dinner, and supper and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I could never eat broccoli again. I still have a hard time. And it took me forever to eat chicken again.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting into it, but now I'm kind of grossed out by chicken sometimes.
So my plan is gonna be like I'm gonna have chicken. I'm gonna do some like hard boiled eggs, and I have one of those little like things, like the little snackle box type trays, where you can put like salad fixings in it. So I could put like different things to put in a salad. So that way I can just make a salad, put on what I want, and change it up so it's not the same every day. But I'm just really bad about eating all of those things right now, because it's just time consuming if I don't have it ready.
So you need meal prep.
Which I do, but then I'm like, it'll sit in my refrigerator because I just don't take the time to eat it. Oh. That is my problem. But my problem is that I just don't eat.
Maybe you just need to grab the container, individual containers, like how holds are 2 or 3 things, because
I have those.
Your thing, you could walk around with what you're doing.
I literally, at the same time. Yeah, but then my clients want to eat it too.
I was just gonna say that.
And that's the problem. Then all of a sudden they're having a fit because they want what you have, even though they're not gonna eat it. They're gonna like, that's horse food or rabbit food or whatever. For me, it's just like I get so busy, like literally self-care, scrolling, I call it, where all of a sudden you're just like, I should go eat, but then all of a sudden you find yourself, I'm just gonna check this one thing out, and then 2 hours later you're like, oops, have I been sitting here? Like, my little break, tiny little break that sometimes I get, which not usually, where I should have a break to eat. It's like, oh, I'm just going to take 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it's, ooh, we're 45 minutes into this. We'll be done with this shortly. Yeah. And it's like, well, I could eat quick. I'll just go grab whatever. So I've been I've been doing Aloha bars.
Oh, yeah.
And those Nuka pouches. But the Nuka's carbohydrates. I mean, it's got protein and omega-3s and things like that. So it's not all whatever, but it's still carbohydrates, sugar a little bit. But it's at least got omegas, protein,
has some stuff,
fruit, at least some kind of nutrients. Yeah. And the Aloha bars, they're like a protein bar. They're not like super high protein, but like maybe 10 or 12 grams. But it's like, you got to have protein and fat at every few hours, even if it's just a couple bites of something, especially when you're old like us.
Yeah.
Because our metabolisms change so much and people are like, you can't do the crash diets and you can't do this because your body needs all need all of the things that you have, but you just got to make sure that your food has the nutrients, because the way they do things these days, like if most grocery stores will pick like your apples and your tomatoes and stuff while they're not ripe, right?
Right.
Well, they're by the time they get to you, they're not gaining any nutrients. Whatever they had when they were picked is what you got.
Yeah.
So you're not getting the nutrients of the food. That's the problem with the food system right now. And they're allowing so many chemicals and all these things in there, again, trying to avoid the political, but the administration is trying to make some changes.
Yeah.
Some of that, which to me is all good.
Yeah, it's going the right direction.
So. They've got to make some changes, because doing the job I do and seeing what I'm allowed to feed versus say what a school system is allowed to feed is maddening almost. Like I've seen what some of the, I took, a trip to the school during lunch one time and I looked at their trays and I was like, okay. Or you give them a snack and I'm like, okay, it's all sugar, carbohydrates, but I'm like, how are they passing, whatever. And it's hard to feed kids different things because they're getting that at home. It's like, I want chicken nuggets. Have you ever watched how they make a chicken nugget? Literally, like go watch like how it's made or something. And I'm like, it's not even meat. No. It's like beaks and chicken feet, and it ends up being,
I used to just make up my own homemade chicken nuggets.
Color
cut up the chicken breasts and bread them.
I know. I just never quite turn out. I have trouble with that. So if anybody has any tips, because I can't get it, I don't fry anything.
No. I just would cut mine in chunks or slices, however, or buy the chicken tenders, and then I would put it in what's that stuff called now again? It comes seasoned. Shake and bake.
Yeah, shake and bake. Or
and then I call that the chicken strip, and they ate it.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do that all the time. I'd pre-make them ahead of time because it was just way easier, and it was easier to claim it and all that kind of stuff. But, the kids don't eat it. They're like, ew. Why is it? Why is it? I'm like, because it's actually food. It's not like
they're
somebody's
used to eating the.
It's not the chicken beak and the
mushy-
chicken foot. You
mushy
know,
chicken
like
nugget. It's mush meat.
Like, I've stopped. I mean, I do buy some chicken nuggets still, but I've been trying to buy like popcorn of chicken or chicken bites because it's at least the chicken versus the nugget, which is like pink rubbery
or gray
paste. Like they dye it. They dye it a color to make it look normal.
Yeah.
Like seriously, watch it once. Figure it out.
It's just like when they
you'll never eat a chicken nugget again.
Just like how they make a hot dog. I like hot dogs though.
I mean,
I don't like chicken nuggets.
Lips and buttholes.
I like real chicken nuggets.
Yeah, it's
with real chicken.
The food system is just a little bit broken right now, but
I am glad that we're both on the same page and we're both like going on the.
Well, I guess that'll be a topic, and we'll have to hold each other accountable and be like, "Did you eat any sugar today?"
Well, I gotta finish a bag of gummy bears.
So yeah, okay. So we gave out.
I could do that today.
We gave out full-size candy bars for Halloween, and since it was raining, we didn't get quite as many trick-or-treaters. How
much do you have left?
I have this basket like this big by this big full of candy bars still.
Oh my god. What are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know. Give it away.
No.
Because I'm like, I'm not gonna give it to my clients because that would be terrible.
But what you could do though is you love holiday. She does holiday baking. You could put it in your cookies.
No, because then I'll eat it.
Well,
I'm not baking anything because I will eat it.
That's how I am too.
Like my sister usually makes like Thanksgiving pies.
Yeah.
She's not gonna be here for Thanksgiving, so either I have to make them or I have to buy them. I was looking last night on. Ooh, my husband wants a peach pie, and I'm like, I could make one of those.
That sounds good.
And then I'm like, if I make it, I'm gonna eat it, or I'm gonna sample it as I'm making it to make sure it doesn't suck because I've never made it before, and then I'm eating sugar, so therefore not gonna do it.
You could make it sugar-free pie.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. The only thing you should have that's sugar-free, the two things, sweet leaf stevia, because there's too many stevias. There's too many different kinds of stevia. That is, sweet leaf is the only kind you should buy. And xylitol, you have to be careful with that, but you can have xylitol. Other than that, you should not be putting anything else in your mouth because it's complete.
I get extremely sick from
chemicals.
Stevia. It gives me like hot flashes, like food poisoning.
People do not realize it's like, people.
Usually when I go sugar-free, I just like...
If you cannot say what it is from the label, it should not be in your mouth.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Literally like potassium sulfamate. What the frick is that? Or like all the forms of sugar. Dextrose, sucrose, whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, dextrose, that's what honey, and sucrose is whatever. And it's like, they're all forms of whatever. Because people are like, oh, honey is good for you. Yes, honey is good for you, but it is still sugar.
Yeah. But it's a healthier sugar.
It's a healthier choice because it's not corn syrup or any of those other things, but it is still sugar. So like if you're dealing with like a fungus problem or gut problem or something, and you need to rebuild your gut, you don't want to be eating sugar because it's going to make it worse. But sugar is the culprit for a lot of issues. So you got to just quit. That's why it's like you just got to stop because there's sugar in everything.
Yeah. Well,
literally everything.
Next year we plan on having like a dome garden. I have a big plan to do that. Greenhouse garden, I should say. So I want to start making a lot of my own stuff.
Did you know that you can winter sow seeds? Like you put them in milk jugs, cut open a hole and stick them outside. And when it's warm enough, they actually grow. There's an actual like Facebook page in there for our state that has that in there. I was like, that's a thing? Like they just put it in their backyard in the middle of the snowdrift.
Yeah, my husband just wanted to turn the basement into a garden. He's like, we can just grow this stuff in the basement. I'm like,
yeah, but basements get, you can get mold down here.
Well, that's just it because we don't have that right now.
Just because.
I was thinking bugs.
Things get weird. Well, I mean, you get bugs if you have plants at all, but I have a hard time keeping household plants alive. I have this peace lily from my dad's funeral.
So she's still alive.
My dad's passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Like last week. And I still have this peace lily, and it should be this big, massive thing. It's like this big and this tall because it's literally dying. Because it sits in my kitchen on this little desk that I have. I mean, it's kind of by the patio, and I don't know how to water the freaking thing, so I keep, having, and I've had to repot it a couple times.
Yeah. Do you ice cube feed it?
No, but I've started like watering it from the bottom. So like I'll pour the water in and it'll suck it from the roots. Apparently I water it too much because I think they said it doesn't need that much water.
So like maybe once a year.
Well, I have a spider plant and they're like once a month. My husband's been watering my aloe plant. My aloe plant is huge. It's like in a pot that's like this big.
So he has the green.
It's like this tall. No,
but you have the garden.
I had the aloe plant ready to go, but it got so big that I couldn't leave it where it was anymore because it just got too big to sit there. So I had to bring it
some to me
downstairs
like
in front of our big window that we have where the egress window is. And it's like this big, it's like this tall and like this wide.
Jesus.
And it started out in one of those little, you know, like
little baby ones where it's just the one little thing.
I can grow this thing because I'm like, how hard is it?
Yeah. Last year, someone gave me a, she called it a walking Jew. No one come after me. She called it that herself, and she says, this plant is as tough as you. And I'm like, and at the time it meant a huge thing for me. I was like, oh my God, I can't kill this thing. And she's like, no, it's dead. It died.
Yeah, there's people who are like green thumbs, like they can just take like part of a spider plant, stick it in some water, and poof, it grew. Yeah. I actually did that with mint earlier. I was experimenting. I did. It grew roots and everything. Put it in the dirt. Then I went on vacation for a week. Came back totally fried because I left it outside on my front step, and it was like 90 degrees that day.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we go from minus 40 to 90 here. So, you know, no wonder we're all whacked in the head sometimes because it just gets crazy. But, you know, gardening.
I just have artificial plants. There was one plant that I could not kill, and I can't remember. And it's funny, not funny, but it's also from my grandma's funeral. I got it from her. It was at 2017. Gosh, I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. But I had it for 2 years, and I barely watered it. Like, I'm not kidding. Like maybe once every few months, and it would grow, and it would just stay there. And then at first, it must have like went dormant or something because it didn't grow much bigger. But I was tired of it having it on my fridge. So, when I did just throw it away, it was completely dry and dust in there, but it was alive. I was like, wow.
Some plants are that way. They're like, oh, I just give it a little sip once a month, and I'm like, okay, I tried that once, and the thing died.
Yeah.
Or it gets moldy and the roots get weird, and then you got to replant it, and then you got to change all the dirt. And I'm like, okay, well, where do I get dirt here in the middle of winter? Because you got to hope one of the stores still has some dirt, or you can't even dig it out.
Plant turning like mush.
Yeah, that happens. That happens. Or it stinks. Like I pulled out the peace lily once, and the roots were literally like stinky rotten, and they're like, you gotta like rinse them off and replant them, and I'm like, okay, this thing's gonna die. Nope, it started sprouting flowers and everything, and I'm like, there hasn't been a flower out of that thing in like 4 years now. And I'm like, it's literally like shrinking every day, and I was like, well, it's still sprouting leaves. I mean, it's probably gonna end up with one little leaf.
Yeah, she's
trying. But I'm like, I just can't throw it away, you know. Like, it was my dad's funeral plant, and I feel a little bit guilty.
I felt guilty for like a month, but you'll get over it.
Yeah, well, you know what I did the other day? This is totally off subject.
It's fine.
So I was holding my phone like this, and I was talking to, you know, doing stuff or whatever, and I hit something from like my favorites list. That's my dad. I called my dad's phone just on a whim. Like I wasn't even like, I was just carrying the phone around. Yeah. All of a sudden my phone's ringing, and I'm like, well, who am I calling? And I was like, okay, well, nobody's going to answer that phone. At least I hope not, because that's my dad's phone, which obviously we don't have anymore.
Right, but someone might have his number.
You know, somebody might be a little bit weird. Be like, hello. I'm like, holy crap. You know, like he's talking to me from heaven or something. But yeah, I was like,
I'd be freaked out.
And I was talking about, you know, since I made a post about my dad and it being 7 years or whatever, how we get these little God winks, you know, that remind you of them, you know. And sometimes when I text my mom, instead of it just saying mom, it'll say mom and dad. And I'm like, I don't even have it in my phone that way, but it's got to be that way somewhere,
right?
For it to just randomly show up, because it's just once in a blue moon, it just shows up mom and dad.
Especially when you haven't like texted in 7 years.
Right. And it just comes up mom and dad. So I'm like, somebody's got it saved somewhere in an archive somewhere that's backing up to that phone that makes it do that.
Right.
Because sometimes I'll just be like, ugh. You know, and I was okay because it's been 7 years, but I have a really hard time sitting in church on those days because my dad was a very religious man, you know, deacon, all those kinds of things, you know, and all of a sudden my husband turns and looks at me and he's laughing and I'm just like, ah! He's like, what? And I'm like, oh, I'm just having a hard time with thinking about my dad today. And I go, it's always when I'm sitting in church. Like, I couldn't go to church and not cry for about a solid 9 months.
Oh my gosh.
It was tough. And I don't know if that was just my way of my way of grieving,
or what they were talking about in church.
Well, it wasn't even that. Like, it didn't matter what church I was at, what was going on. It was just, I just sat there and cried. As soon as I heard the music, it was just Niagara Falls.
Right.
You know, and the church sermon today was basically like, you gotta let go of the things that you're hanging on to, you know, which I have a really hard time with. And I'm like, I need to, because I think it's unhealthy. And that's what I learned at this class that I took yesterday from.
But what are we letting go? Like, what?
But it's things like, even from your past, whether it's a death, whether it's some trauma that you had when you were a kid, or something that you're hanging on to that you think you let go of that you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Because it gets
you know, and for me, it's like, I want God to take control of things, but it's like, you can say that, but how do I actually do that? Like, I just feel like I'm gonna give it over, and all of a sudden,
you just need to be carefree, like a Gen Z.
You know, like, I have so much fear and anxiety over the stupidest things. And it's like life consuming, you know, and I've been in therapy a long time for it. I haven't gone in a couple of years now because I've mostly had it under control, except for this hormonal perimenopause thing, not so much.
But now you're trying to do it naturally?
Well, I've been trying to do it naturally for 20 years, but it's like you evolve in those 20 years where you go from childbearing to, you know, this whole roller coaster that we're on right now.
And it doesn't help that our children
are growing up and they leave, and now you're like, what am I supposed to do with my time? Because I have my husband. Which is fine, because I love him to death, and I love him dearly. But, and, you know, and he's like, what about me? You can spend all the time with me. And I'm like, I can spend some of it with you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm serious. Like, I couldn't function without him either. But, you know, it's not the same. So I told him that he has to give me, because he said no more animals after the dogs that we have pass away, right?
I went to the mall yesterday.
Don't go in the puppy store.
I did.
Oh, boy. What'd you go in the puppy store for?
Because I was just, you know.
You never go in the puppy store, because that's how we ended up with one of our huskies. We were supposed to do like a for love of dogs, like adoption thing. Yeah. And the dog that my son wanted to see wasn't there, right?
Oh, no.
He was so bummed and like so upset. So my husband was like, oh, let's just take him to the pet store in the mall. They never have any of the big dogs. They always have one of the little yappers, which we weren't getting another yapper because we'd already had chihuahuas, and we're like, not doing that again.
No more, yeah.
Of course, we go there, and he had a list of 5 different bigger dogs he wanted. 4 of the 5 breeds were at that pet store.
See, it was a sign you were supposed to get one.
So we come out with a dog, a very cute one. I felt a little bad because he had a brother there, and I kind of wanted to bring the brother home too. Yeah. But I was like, no, let's just see how this goes, because huskies can be a lot of work. They're very high strung sometimes, you know.
That's what I heard.
So then we get him home, you know, whatever. And he's, you know, cute as can be, whatever. We go a whole year, actually less than. My youngest boy, because this is my oldest boy's thing.
Okay.
I want this puppy, you know, whatever.
Right.
My youngest one was like, well, he got a dog. I want a dog.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, we're not getting another dog, because we already had one, you know, the one that's going to be, you know, that's basically, we're just getting through the last few days here, I think. We're kind of getting to that. And I'm like, we're not getting another dog. I'm not getting another dog. So then, me being me, I don't make bets that I know I can't win, right? And I don't even make bets at all, because I am not very good at that. So my youngest played hockey, right? So it was this safe bet, okay? So like our town,
you were like, we don't have any huskies.
So we do the Squirt International, whatever. So my town had not won the Squirt International for like 20 years, right? Oh, so I'm like, it's a safe bet.
Were you betting that?
I bet my son, he wanted it so bad. Like, he was like, I want this dog. And it was going to be another husky, so he had his own, right?
Right.
So I made this bet. I said, okay, so if your team wins the Squirt International this year, I'll get you the dog. Because it's like 20 years, right? Nobody's in this area has won it in 20 years. Yeah, safe bet. So guess who wins the Squirt International in their level that year? Okay, my kid.
Yeah. Now you know
he takes one step off the ice to go to the locker room, looks at me and goes, "You owe me a dog." And I was like, I'm like, okay, probably going to be, you know, this much money to get the dog. I'm like,
Mhm.
how about I just give you the money and you can buy whatever you want? So, no, I want the dog. And it was very specific. I want a white husky, all white husky, and we're going to name him Luke.
Oh wow, he's been planning.
He was.
But you didn't get an all white husky.
Well, when we first got him, he was all white except for one blonde strip right down the center of his forehead. He went through every husky color that there is.
Yeah.
Like there was one point where
Is it kind of like a Yorkie where they look like one thing and all of a sudden they turn into?
I don't know, man, but that dog, like, I don't know. He was something else. He still is something else because we have one that's high strung, but not like they're not obnoxious like most huskies. And the one that the one that I lost the bet in, he's the larger one of the two. But is
he the definition of husky?
I mean, he's mischief. Like he'd get out and he'd be like he'd look at you and be like,
That's
you know.
funny.
But he is mellow. Like you throw him a toy and he's just like he'll go get it once and then he looks at you like,
I'm done.
I'm too tired, and he just lays down. So he's not like whatever, but he has that drive, the prey drive. So like if he sees something, it's like
he's hyper focused.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was just like, oh, let's just go in there, and the whole wall was filled with dogs. And then the very first puppy that we saw, because she was in the center and the top, was a Maltese. And I already have a Maltipoo. I was like, oh. And then it was a female, and I was like, and because I already have it was a boy Maltipoo I have. And then, of course, because my husband does not answer his phone, so I took a picture and I sent it to him, hoping he would answer me. And then finally, like an hour later, he's like, oh, it's Levi's girlfriend. And I'm like, oh, should we get her? He's like, no. We agreed no more animals too, but
but I told my husband, I said, you're gonna have to get me something to take care of. He's like, you can take care of me, and I'm like, it's not the same thing because I am not gonna be a good empty nester.
No,
I'm just not built for it. I'm gonna have to adopt a teenager or a dog, or I keep trying to get mini cows, mini goats, and mini horses out of them, but he keeps telling me no. Yeah, I could have. My dogs would totally eat the chickens though, so I'd have to really wait until they were gone.
But they're gonna all be gone,
But I mean, he's like, it's just way more convenient to not have to worry about animals, which he's not wrong.
No, right. Except for going on trips.
I am a caregiver. I've always been a caregiver.
Maybe you need a cat.
And I'm like my mom. Like, if somebody needed a home or something, I'd be like, oh, I got a spare room. You know, we take in people. And he's like, no. Because I'm like, I would totally adopt a teenager that needs a home because I'm sure there's plenty of them. There's, you know, lots of them around where we could do that.
Yeah.
But he only really, you know, we kind of had to, he wanted one kid, I wanted 4, so we ended up with 2. But, I mean.
I'm hoping by the time, well, I'm not hoping, I guess, because I'm kind of thinking I need something to keep me busy and whatever. But by the time all the animals pass, there has to be some grandbabies on the way then.
Oh, I was actually hoping I'd have them already.
The Maltipoo's 5.
Yeah.
Has 10 years maybe. Something has to happen in the 10 years. Or not. Who knows nowadays?
My youngest broke up with his girlfriend of 3 years, so I thought maybe I was going to get them from there. But it's, you know, it is what it is, which it was a good move, I think, on their part. They just were too far apart on some of the major issues. You know, you have to be on the same page with some certain things, and they just were not.
But they loved each other enough to
know that,
to understand it.
Yeah, I mean,
and that is a very respectful thing.
You know, you gotta be compatible with your person, especially if you're gonna have kids and stuff. You know, and at some point he came up to me and just says, "I don't see this."
My daughter just got, you know, 2.
My oldest, he hasn't had a girlfriend in a long time because he's like,
they're so hard to find.
There are some crazy women out there, Mom.
Oh, my daughter says it about guys. She's just sick and tired of. She doesn't want to have a hookup. She wants something serious. She's not like that. She's not like my grandma would say, a hussy.
Well, I want my, you know, I pray for my kids every day about finding the right partner, you know, the right match, because there is a lot of weirdness out there right now, and I'm hoping that it changes so that we, you know, I'm not 80 before I get a grandkid, you know, they're in their 40s, whatever it is. I don't even know what the math is at this point. I probably wouldn't be that.
Yeah, well,
but so
almost. No.
Depends on how old they are, because my oldest is older than I was when I had him, so I started younger though.
Yeah, my first one was at 14. Wow, no, not that.
Wow.
24, and 29. And what's really cool about my kids is that one was born on the 29th. I was 29 when I had her, and then one other one was born on the 24th, and I was 24 when I had her. And my birthday is the 24th of a month.
So I was 23 and 27.
That's pretty good numbers.
Yep. So my husband he's like 4 years older than me, so he was older, but still young enough. But I always tell my kids, I said, get married, have all the kids, and do it sooner than later, because that is your legacy. It doesn't matter what your job is, doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter
there's never gonna
any of those things. The most important thing that you will do in your life is have your children.
Nothing will ever be lined up.
Nothing. And I go, in the end, that is all you have. Is the only thing you can do is take your kids to heaven with you if they get on that train, or try to get them on that train, because that is the only thing you can take with you. You can't take house, money, cars, job, nothing. None of that stuff matters.
It's all materialistic.
Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yep. So.
Well, we'll just have to keep praying for our kids. For sure. I just told mine she just need to take a break for a little bit, focus on herself, and then the right one will come along.
Always when you're not looking.
Well, and then she threw that at me too, because I said the same thing, and then she's like, I wasn't looking for this one, and then it came, and I'm like, well, keep looking.
Well, it's all where you're looking too.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they find a churchgoer.
Who's introducing you to the person?
Yeah.
That if you're hanging with a certain crowd, you just need to.
Well, my oldest, he's more of like, he knows what he doesn't want, so like as soon as he starts talking, he'll be like, nope. Based off of, somehow there are, they'll walk up and be like, who'd you vote for? Who'd you do this? What'd you think about this? What do you think about that? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Because if those are the first questions that you're going to ask me, I already know that we're not compatible.
Yeah.
Because those are all things you talk about, but it all depends on how those questions are addressed. And, if you walk away after the first answer because you don't like the answer, then that was probably good.
And I think it all depends upon where, like, you have boys and I have girls. So I always even tell my sister, because she's always looking for love too, is that she needs to go a little bit older.
Yeah.
She's trying to date her. Well, my sister doesn't, but she usually goes underneath her. So she's like, and I'm like, why would you want to date someone that immature? Nothing against whatever, but we're in different parts of our times of our lives where we need to have like a more stable man
my son,
or woman.
My oldest son was funny because he came across this girl that he kind of wanted to ask out that he'd met like at a Wii Fest or something, or some kind of music fest or whatever they call it. I don't know, jam, whatever. I don't even know.
We have so many fests.
So many fests. And she was 19 and he's 23, and he's like, she's just too young. And my husband and I looked at each other and started laughing, because that was the age that we started dating.
Yeah.
And we told him that, because you could tell my son really wanted to be like, I kind of want to just get to know her a little bit, or at least try. And I just said, I go, you do realize that I was 19 and your dad was 23 when we started dating? And all of a sudden he was like, oh. We go to the store, and all of a sudden we realized that he had left and he met her at a local park to go have a little mini date.
That's cute.
But then it turns out she was not the girl for him, for sure, because she was a total player.
Oh, that sucks.
And like, like she ghosted him. They kind of got, talked a little bit, but then she wasn't from here and then went to school in a different town around here, or whatever. And it was like, she just all of a sudden went to Vegas with some other dude or something like that. So
oh my gosh, like, so random.
Not really the, the thing, because
like,
my boys are both very, very, very sweet, and I know I'm biased because I'm their mom, but they genuinely are sweet. But they also can be just like, no, don't be dumb, But they do the same thing that all the kids do at this age. They have the growing pains of figuring things out. Like when my youngest broke up with his girlfriend, I mean, he was heartbroken, even though he was the one doing it.
Right.
He was genuinely heartbroken.
Right.
He's like, well, I just wasted all this time. I said, you didn't waste anything.
No.
I said, it's a lesson for you on what you like, what you don't like, what you are looking for, what you are not willing to compromise. I said, because you need to make sure that you are together on these two specific things that you were not together on. I said, because that is the foundation for how you build your family. And if you can't be on the same page as those, you shouldn't be getting married in the first place.
And he learned how to love and cherish certain things.
And he, and he learned, whether she did things that he didn't like. You know, I mean, that happens in every relationship. You know, like me, I've been married 26 years, and there's sometimes I just look at him like, what is wrong with you? Which I'm sure he does to me too, because I am not perfect. Because I have got to be really hard to live with the anxiety sometimes. Like, I acknowledge that, you know, and I think he thinks that I don't, but I totally know that I've got to be terrible sometimes. Where
he's like, I'm going to.
And this perimenopause has made it a whole nother level of, why are you crying? I have no freaking idea. I thought of something that happened 20 years ago that made me sad, and now I'm bawling about it. Or I'm thinking about something that could possibly, potentially happen, that will probably not ever happen, but I'm going to cry about it anyway.
Just add another thing to the thing.
All the while, your son, you know, because I'm surrounded by men. Even all of I have 3 dogs. They're all boys.
You're literally alone.
I have 2 boys. I am literally the only estrogen in that home.
So you need a female dog.
So sometimes I just need some empathy, and they just look at you like, what is wrong with this lady right now? Because the last thing your 20-something sons want to do is figure out what perimenopause is and what their poor mom is going through, because they're looking at you like, I don't need to know. But yet they don't understand it, and they just think that you're being over the top, whatever. Even my husband, he's like, I don't get it. And I said, well, one, he's just not. I think he's just genuinely not trying to understand. Like, he's a very type A, in the box kind of person, you know? Like, perimenopause is like freaking fireworks over here. Like, like what's one thing today will not be tomorrow. It's something totally different. And what works today will not work tomorrow. And what you say today, I might kill you for tomorrow. You know, it's like, he's like, I don't even know when to hug you, because sometimes you just don't want to be hugged. And I'm like, yep, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm trying my best here.
You just have to do, like, follow my cues and not you.
And then they walk around on eggshells because they think it's always that way, and they're like, how am I supposed to freaking know? And I'm like, I don't know.
Where's sign?
And I'm like, what's this way 20 minutes from now? I have no idea. You know, it's like, I wish I could turn it off. You know, and everybody's like, get some hormone replacement therapy. Yeah, I'm not doing that, because I tried that whole thing, and that was
a disaster. Yeah.
So I'm not doing that. So we're doing the natural, which takes a lot longer, and you're constantly having to change because everything fluctuates every freaking day.
Yeah.
So you think you got it figured out, and then all of a sudden you're like, what is that, and why is it there? Or why do I feel like this? Or you literally can feel this tidal wave of emotion coming, and it's like, is it going to crash before it gets to me? Or is it going to be like the freaking tsunami, and I'm going to be like bawling for 3 weeks? Because I've been there too.
Yeah.
Or you just don't give a crap about anything. You're just like,
fuck it.
The freaking bathtub's overflowing, the dog's crapping on the floor over there, and
I'm literally sometimes that little
the
girl
stove's
with the
on
dumpster
fire.
The house is there drinking
and
my
you're
Slurpee.
Just like, I don't care.
Yeah, I give up. I'm done.
Literally, like, I should care, and you just don't.
No, I agree.
You know, like, whatever.
Exactly.
So, I think we'll make it at some point. But I think it sucks that it has to be an entire year of no periods before you can actually declare that. And I think if one more doctor tells me I'm still a little bit too young to get to that point, I might actually choke them.
Private dumpster fire.
Literally, like, if they catch me on the wrong day, I'm going to be like, what is wrong with you? Because, you know, the world has changed with that. You know, like, women used to have babies in their 60s back in the day.
I just saw a 7-year-old have a child on, was it TikTok? I'm like, oh my god, why would you want a kid at 70?
Well, I mean, you look at the Little House on the Prairie days. I mean, they were in their 50s, 60s, still having babies, and now it's like that's where people are just getting, you know, they're already in menopause or whatever, and now it's like you're mid to late 40s, and it's like, oops, I'm almost there. And I'm like, ugh.
Imagine having a baby right now.
Well, I have a friend who did that. She is a 3-year-old, gonna be 4. She'd been trying for years and years and years, and she graduated with her daughter, who was 19, and found out she was pregnant, like, when her daughter graduated high school and was 19, that she was having another baby. So, like, she'll never have an empty nester either. So I was just like, you all suck, because her daughter just got married, so I'm sure babies will be next. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous like that. Like, I want grandbabies. Like, I need something to take care of. I need something to be like...
Well, you'll definitely have to get yourself another little dog once all these other ones are gone.
Yeah, he's not going to let me have a dog.
Just bring it home.
Now I'm going to come home with a mini goat.
The fainting one.
The little ones that hop through
or you get the little...
He said he'd divorce me if I did that. So.
How about the mini Highline cows?
Well, I mean, my yard's big enough where I could put little mini crap thingies back there,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, "Ooh, there's
the
a mini
thinking
goat
goes,
and
that'd be
a
good.
mini horse and a mini cow," and I'm like, "Just go roam."
Yeah. And for the line of business here, and you can use it as a therapy animal.
Right. I'd probably have to. I think you have to put them in a fence though, so I'd have to get
Yeah.
cattle fences.
You
or
can't have
something.
birds either. With your
Birds are
lawnmower.
creepy anyway. And besides, I never did well with birds when I was a kid. I forget to feed them, and then they die. So.
You know what? I don't. This is a 2 a.m. morning type thing that happened to me, but I was like, oh, you know, my chickens are so crabby because they're constantly in labor.
Having an egg every day.
Yes. And it was like a whole theory, and everything came in my head. And I was just like, this is why they're crabby. That's why they're only happy for a very short period of time of the day, because during the whole entire day they're cramping and then delivering.
It's like they have period all the time.
Yes.
I mean, really, like, how does that even work? You know, it's like they lay eggs, and it's like, how many eggs do they lay every day?
And it is, they're huge.
You know, and somebody showed me a diagram where I was doing something for my job, and I was like, the cycle of an egg from a chicken. I was like, it starts out this big and it grows. I'm like, it's like we're born with like 20 million eggs or something like that. I'm like, how many eggs do we go through?
Exactly.
And I'm like, now that I'm where I'm at, I'm like, I probably don't have any eggs left.
Yeah.
I literally told the doctor the other day, I go, I think my ovaries are, I literally feel like they're shriveling up like the raisins right now. She goes, well, they kind of are. And I was like, I don't need the visual.
Yeah. But I did. I felt bad for the chicken after that. I was like, oh, that explains why you're so crabby.
I mean, really?
It is the truth.
I mean,
they're constantly
it can always be
cramping
worse,
in labor.
right?
Oh, I remember labor, so I don't know.
Oof.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
But still.
My husband showed me a video this morning, and the guy goes, would you rather be kicked in the balls or be in childbirth? And I'm like, men couldn't survive childbirth.
He even says that.
And I'm like, you get kicked in the nuts and you're like in pain for a little bit, and you know, whatever. For the most part, I mean, it can be bad if it's, you know, whatever. But
exactly.
But I'm like, they're like, well, you wouldn't do it again, right? And I said, well, women have other babies, and it's like men don't want to get kicked in the balls again, so they don't do it again, right? Oh. So you kind of have to, you know, you kind of have to decide, you know. I'm like, well, women keep having babies even though it hurts and it sucks and it's terrible, and you know, feel like there's a whole.
I remember when I was having my second child, going into labor and stuff, I was freaking myself out about the pain of the labor, because I didn't have anything with my first one and didn't have anything with the second one. I did try an epidural because I didn't want to go through that pain again, but the epidural didn't work. I was one of those very few that doesn't work.
Well, mine on my first one did not. It numbed like.
I didn't get numb at all.
It didn't numb like the part that needed to be numb, so it was like.
Mine didn't numb me at all. I was walking, going to the bathroom, I felt everything going on. It didn't even dull the pain. Yeah. And I'm just like, did you do it right? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, I feel like you're one of the very few that it doesn't work to.
Well, when I had my second one, he's like, have you had an epidural before? We're like, yep. And he goes, how'd it go? I said, it didn't work. It numbed from here to here, but not down here. And he's like, ooh, that's not good. Well, this one will work. And he's like, who was your anesthesiologist? And I'm like, you were.
That's awesome.
And all of a sudden, he like put his game face on. He's like, well, this one's gonna work. And he's like, would you feel that? Like, how's this going? I'm like, what's it supposed to feel like? He goes, good. Doesn't feel like anything right now, does it? And I was like, nope. And he goes, that's what it's supposed to feel like. I'm like, good. Because I mean, the first time was terrible because, you know, it was
well, you know what I felt like then, because
36 hours and he came out like cocked head and sunny side up, so it was super not cool.
Yeah. You know what I went through then? Yeah, it's just
terrible.
I felt the pain of both of them.
Yeah. And my youngest was giant for a little person like me at the time, so you know, 9-pound baby coming out of a 115-pound girl was just like not cool.
No.
Yeah, doctor's like, oof. And I'm like, see, modern technology. The ultrasound showed him at 7 pounds, and he was 2 pounds heavier. So
yeah,
she's like, if we'd known he was 9 pounds, we would not have tried this the normal way. Right. And I was like,
or they would have induced you sooner.
Yeah,
they were worried that my second one would get really big because of the medical condition I was having. So we induced just a week early, and both my baby girls were 7'10", both of them.
So my first was 7'5". And my second one was 9. Like when he came out, when he came out, the doctor's eyes were like this big. My husband and my mom were both like, and I'm like, what does he have, 2 heads or something? Because you all look like you're like
Yeah.
something's wrong. They're like, he's just a big guy.
Thank you for listening in today. Until next time, guys. Have a great week.
See you all next time.